So this is a picture of me with a sheep's head. It's a pretty unique fish. I put it up here because I thought it might make you think just a little bit differently about fishing compared to just another picture of a guy with a fish. This is me a few years ago fishing, and I fish a lot. I fish with my kids. I fish with my dad. I fish with my wife, and I just think fishing is a pretty awesome thing. And the more I think about fishing, the more I think that really fishing is about life, and fishing is really a metaphor for life. And let me show you how. First, I think, is the chase. Secondly, I would say is the catch. Third is the big one gets away. And fourth is the quest. All parts about fishing, but I would argue that they are absolutely, certainly all parts of life. And I find multiple connections between the act of going out and fishing and catching something or looking for something and life. Even at my age, going out and looking for something and asking for something and wanting something, I just think there are many, many similarities. Let's start with the chase. That's a picture of Ty fishing and Jordan fishing. This is in Marco Island at my parents' house out there. And they just fish off the break wall here. And this is the chase. And here you can see a big pike swimming in the water. This is actually at the cottage that we used to own. And this is the chase. This is putting in the time and sitting out there and trying to catch a fish. And there's just something about the chase. And the first thing is deciding what you want. And this is fishing, but this is life. What do you want? And I'm not talking, I think maybe some people think like maybe a spouse or something like that. I'm talking about what do you want in life? And it could be a small thing or a big thing, but once you decide what you want, well, then you got to put in the time and the effort, just like fishing. And you sit out there and for hours, maybe you don't catch anything. And this has happened with my kids. And I've told them repeatedly, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort. It will pay off. And then lastly is the planning and the scheming and the preparing. I think you have to do all of those things in fishing, and you have to do all those things in life. When you try to plan and prepare to get something, you have to put in that time, and that's the chase. And the chase and fishing is what fascinates me, but I think the chase in life is equally fascinating. Then there's the catch. This is Ty with a fish in Marco Island, me with a pike, me with a bass at the cottage. I know you love my hat. It's Ty with a small fish because it's, not always with the catch is it a keeper. Sometimes you have to try again, and this is life as well. So sometimes you go after something in life and you plan and you scheme and you put in your time and you get it and it's a keeper and it's the type you wanted and life is great and there's incredible satisfaction in that in life and in fishing. Sometimes you have to try again. Sometimes the fish isn't the right size. There's rules. A bass has to be 12 inches long to keep, things like that. Sometimes it's just not the right size, or sometimes it's not okay to do it. Sometimes you're at a catch and release lake or something where whatever you catch, you just have to put back. But that catch, there's such satisfaction in life and in fishing with the catch. Third one is the big one gets away. And here's a great quote from the big fish. The biggest fish in the water gets that way by never being caught. What an interesting quote. And that movie, by the way, you should watch that movie. Very interesting movie. A ton of metaphors about fishing, but it's not really about fishing at all. It's about relationships and family and storytelling. But the biggest fish in the water gets that way by never being caught shows that sometimes your goals are just so big and so difficult to get. And that's because it takes the most time to get there and the most effort to get there. And it's the toughest goal. And I think that quote talks about how, fishermen a lot of times talk about, I almost had this big one or whatever. That is such an interesting part of fishing, trying to get the big one. And I would say it's an interesting part of life, trying to catch the big job or whatever you are after. And then the fourth part is the quest, the constant quest for whatever you're searching for. These two pictures here, I just think are so interesting from the back. You can see my kids fishing. And what are they really after? Are they trying to catch a fish, or are they just trying to get family time? Or are they, and I think that quest in fishing is an interesting thing because you never really know what you're going after necessarily. For me, I think when I fish with my kids and my dad and my wife, and I think the quest is about just spending time with them. Another thing about the quest is they've written novels about the quest. The Old Man and the Sea that you'll start reading next week is about a quest. And now it's a connection with a quest in fishing. But I think all the novels you read, or most of the novels you read, are about some sort of quest, some sort of adventure, going out and trying to get something. And this quest about fishing that you'll read about in The Old Man and the Sea, it's kind of about fishing, but as you'll see, it's really not about fishing at all. For me, my quest will never end. And this picture of me a few years ago walking out into a lake getting ready to fish, and I know that feeling. And I have that feeling right now in life of just looking for more and always wanting more. In fact, just recently, about a week ago, I accepted a new job, by the way. I'm going to be an assistant basketball coach at Hope College this year. So after school, I'll drive to Hope, and that's part of my continued quest to just do more and be more and give more. And this I'm just walking out into the water of life and trying to find more to do and more ways to impact people. So just like life, I think fishing is the same way. And for me, my quest will never end. Okay, so I got that down to 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I wanted to show you that you can do it within 5 minutes.